I'm doing
3
that.
minutes of gold.
Yeah, how was it?
Golden. All right, I have tweeted
Kind of more like an ochre.
sepia.
All right.
Gold is just metallic yellow when you get right down to it.
It is. It's just real shiny. Okay.
Filthy lucre.
Filthy lucre.
What is this? Oh, never mind. All right, ready? Let's clap and do the damn thing. Ready?
Let's clap.
1, 2, 3.
434.
The age-old question: did it peg out?
It actually did on mine this
It
time.
did. It pegged out.
Did
344.
it? Okay, good.
Mine always pegs out 114.3.
Always.
Always.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Game by Show podcast. It is November the 15th, 2021. This evening, it's Monday. Surprise Monday podcast. My name is LeGrande Jolly. This evening, I am joined by Jeremy Lamont. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, beware the Ides of November. Everybody, beware.
There's Dale Jones. Say hello.
Hi. The Ides of November makes me think of like a Thin Lizzy song for some reason, but I can't decide which one.
It's all right.
Maybe
too,
Black
Dale
Rose.
Jones.
Yeah.
And because our podcast downloads were down 30% last week, there's Jerod Red Eye Dunn. Hello, Jerod. Welcome back to the show.
He's back. I don't have a cool background like Dale.
It's
so
down
I feel-
30% because I don't bother
Listen,
to download
everybody
it
can
if
have that
Jared's not on.
background.
I don't know how though.
Oh, yeah? Watch this.
Discord
What?
tech.
Look,
I want to do that too.
Whoa.
Well,
We're
hold
in
on, I'm
different
doing
parts
it.
of the city.
Are we?
I don't know how to make it work.
I don't think so.
yeah,
It's
mine
super
does.
dumb, though. It's like
It's
super
mirror
whack.
it's mirror imaged actually.
Oh, that must be. Oh, yeah, you're
Is
right.
it mirror image for you?
Yeah, I see
Because-
mine with like as if I'm
Am I
looking at a
pointing
mirror.
to the little flying taxi? car?
Yes, and so am I.
You're on different Spider-Man rooftops.
I don't know. I don't have this option.
Everyone has this option.
I don't.
When's the last time you updated Discord?
I promise you do. This is very good content for audio listeners.
It's a couple of weeks old, so if you haven't updated it in a while.
It's older than that.
Is
It's
it?
been around for a minute.
I only discovered it a week and a half.
You mean you're
ago.
not on the bleeding edge of Discord technology? I mean,
I'm not
Shoot.
in harmony with
they
Discord.
backed off of their NFT
There-
shenanigans
I'm-
this week.
I'm still just dealing with swords back here, so
That's okay.
working up to the trebuchet, you know.
Discord. How about Discord?
Oh yeah, not bad, not bad. Jeremy's still screwing around with his.
I'm trying to
Snapchat.
make my. I want
He
something
loves
special too.
Snapchat so much. He
Hold on,
he
I'm gonna
downloaded
figure
the
it out.
camera app for his PC, and now he
Yeah,
screwed
what's
up the nameplates.
Yep, he
In
sure
classic
did.
Jeremy
Did I?
fashion.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Of course you did. You turned off
I'm
your camera.
LeGrande. Look at me
I
playing in a
totally meant
band.
to do it. Okay, what if I do it this way?
Yeah.
then?
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Monday because we were all busy yesterday, and
We were.
it's
There
the
was a
way it goes
Seahawks
around
game
here.
yesterday afternoon. I had to watch with my buddy.
And who won?
Wow.
The Tampa Green Bay, whatever what you call it.
The Packers? Did they play?
Yeah, those cheese
You know what?
people.
I love the Seahawks' bright green football uniforms. Do they have those on?
No, it was an away game for them, so they were
Oh,
wearing
lame.
just like the normal stuff.
They are
white,
so cool.
white or whatever. Yeah, they do
I
have
love
good
those
colors.
bright green ones. Yeah,
I'm
they're
sort
awesome.
I'm in the part of the country where you default to being a Seahawks fan if you have no preference.
We default to Denver here,
Yeah, I would figure so. Yeah.
but or LA. I mean, the Raiders are technically closer now. Yeah,
You
welcome to
mean-
football talk, guys.
But they're
That's
Las
what you
Vegas now, right? They're not LA anymore.
Oh yeah,
Right.
LV. I meant LV.
LV. Yeah.
Hey, I won
Hey, 50% of the podcast now apparently cares about football. So
fifth game in a row.
Tides
I
are
won
turning.
fantasy football.
tides are turning.
I'm number
I
one in
only-
the league.
I only watch
Really?
it because I was over there, because my friend was like, "Hey, bring the kids over. We can get drunk. They can play." So
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
it's
combination.
always good.
Drunk parenting. Perfect.
You know what?
They take
How
care of
else do you get
themselves.
through it? I don't know. I don't have the answer.
No, it's all right. I threw a big party for my wife's 40th birthday last night that Jeremy came
Wow.
to.
I was there.
Was that
It
what
was
that
What's wrong with
insane.
you two?
There was
Well, I would
There's so many
hope he's
people.
your wife.
Yeah. Jeremy, happy 40th birthday.
Thank you. I'm happy to be a podcast wife.
You don't look
Yeah.
a day over 40 in a day.
Yeah. How many tacos did you eat, Jeremy?
As many as I possibly could, and by the end of the night, I regretted it. I was like, oh.
Were they the little like Trader Joe's chicken tacos?
They were like little like street tacos, and they would ask me how
I had it
Yeah.
catered by a street taco
Guy.
company.
Like a street
I bought
taco man.
325 tacos.
Where did you host that?
I rented out a venue just here locally.
Nice.
And I went and talked to the taco people afterwards, and they had a big old pot of like food there still. I'm like, oh shit, like because I thought like 325 tacos. That's a lot of tacos, right?
Yeah.
But there were like
Not when
100
Jeremy's
people at the
around.
party. But I went up to the taco lady and I'm like, hey, so do I get to take all this meat home? And she's like, no, you guys ate. And she said this in Spanish, of course. No, you guys ate all the tacos. And I'm like, oh, really? Like I was surprised. And she was like, yeah, because people came back like 2 or 3 more times. Like people got thirds. And I'm like, ah, cool. Like that's exactly what I wanted. Like I wanted people just to pound tacos all night. And well, people like Jeremy and others did. I only had 4.
I
How many
did.
did you have?
Like 6. I had like 3 the first time and like 4 the second.
You know, I didn't have tacos, but I did have nachos. So I feel like we were sort of on a wavelength.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They were legit tacos. They were so good, man.
Yeah, they were really good too.
They were
had
so
like
good.
various sauces, and one of them was surprisingly hot that I didn't.
Yeah, they were
realize.
hot. They were good. They had like all the fixings. It was like legit street tacos. It was awesome.
It was good.
Anyway, so sorry you guys weren't there. The band played as well. My band.
Gosh dang.
I saw a picture. It looked
Yeah.
fun.
It was loud as hell. is
Looked
what I heard.
like
was
a
it loud,
band.
Jeremy? Was it loud?
It was sufficient. You know, it was a little hard to sway to though.
My wife told me afterwards. She's like, it was kind of loud, and I'm like, well,
What do you want? It's a band.
You
welcome
just
to
tell
rock
her-
and roll, I
You're
guess.
old
I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Like,
If
oh,
it's- if
really?
it's too
Well,
loud, you're too old.
Next thing you know, she's gonna be yelling at you to get
that's
off the
something
lawn.
that 40-years-olds would say at a rock concert.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. No,
Why
you
is
got to
it
get
so
those.
loud?
You got to get those concert earplugs, man. That's the only way to go.
I have some, and I was wearing them.
I
And I
have
wore
some
them to
too.
the last concert I went to, and it was amazing.
They're great.
They are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
I would never go to a concert without them or play
I have a
music the way
sleep
that I
mask
do.
that I use, and you know, I've got some orthopedic inserts for my shoes.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Talking about-
standing around all night. Like get back pain.
Dude, I was so tired last night though. Like I was going for 12 hours setting up that party and participating in the party and playing music at the party, and it was a good time. My wife
I
deserves.
offered to
She's
help
40
when
years
I
old.
played
Happy
Frisbee
birthday to
with
my
kids.
wife, Katrina.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
definitely.
Anyway.
Well,
Welcome to the video game show, guys. Jeremy and I have a game, a shared game to
Oh,
talk
man.
about. I think we should probably double team this really quick
We do.
before I
Go for
bitch
it.
and moan about the other game I'm going to talk about. But go
Yeah.
on, let's go.
So the first thing is a brand new out this week, and everybody is playing it. You can tell because of all the drivatars. Forza Horizon 5 is out, and it's pretty good. It's actually really, really good.
Blink and you'll miss it. 'Cause it
I
goes
want to
real
say,
I have
wanna
a
say
couple
that-
things to say. I'm going to let you finish.
Okay.
I have a few things to say.
Okay, sure. Forza Horizon 5, I think, is the first game that even in the Horizon series, Forza or Horizon, that kind of makes me think a little bit more about Burnout, Burnout Paradise.
that was a good
right?
game.
Really?
was a
More
gr-
so
that was a
than
great game.
Forza Horizon 4?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was that 4 even did.
It was the same thing as 5. They're basically
Was it the
identical
same-
games in different settings.
Here's the only thing. Here's the thing that all of Forza is missing out on, and that's a boost button. Like, can we just not get a boost button in
And
Horizon? Like,
crashing cars.
I want to just hit the nitro and crash something in slow motion. Like, we have solved this problem, and we're making it a lot harder on ourselves. Forza
It'll never
Horizon 5,
happen though because of all the licensed cars in that game. Is what the word on the street is. right?
yeah, well, I mean, they let you crack the windshield a little bit.
But
You know,
that's
car damage is it's kind of scant.
The
Was it completely, like,
windshields
railroad
are
your
not
car
licensed.
into like a telephone pole.
Like I have to super fly it off of some like the side of some freeway on ramp and land, you know, ass over tea kettle, and then you get a little crack in the the rear view, rear windshield there. But Forza Horizon 5 takes place in Mexico, which is awesome. The music is awesome. The vistas are awesome. Occasionally, it even really looks like Mexico. Like just every once in a while. Like sometimes it's like some baloney, like terrain or something that they just threw together. But every once in a while, I get a real whiff of what it's like to be in the Mexican landscape, and it's
Mexico
really
is a
good.
big country. And I don't think people realize that. Like
very
Mexico
good.
has
the way
yeah.
that the United States has a very diverse like geography because
Yeah.
it is so big. I think Mexico is while not as big as the United States, is still a very large country that has deserts and forests and mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, tropics.
All the things. Tropical
All kinds
area.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Absolutely.
Jaggy montañas, all of those.
Yeah.
And it kind of distills everything, like a racing game would. I mean, you're not going to be, you don't really have anything that's shaped like Mexico. You just sort of have here's an area, and we're going to say it's Mexico, and here's Tenochtitlan down here, and it's Mexico, guys, right? That's kind of how it works. So the way it works is, and again, I guess if it's been doing this because I played a lot of Forza Horizon 4, but I don't remember. So it kind of basically works the same way as I'm gonna call back to 2009. It works like Burnout Paradise, where you have little intersections and stuff, like little areas on a map, and you go there, and there's one of half a dozen different kinds of events. You have speed trap events where it's like you just want to get going as fast as you can and cross the line at some certain speed. You have races, a lot of off-road. Like I'm doing a lot of drifting on gravel, which usually I don't like, but it's been working out okay.
They drop you in the very opening sequence. They drop you in a Corvette and have you drive off road with it.
Yeah. Like you could just sort of do it. They do have. Here's one thing that seems new, because I don't remember this in the old Forzas, is that they let you do a lot of car tuning. Maybe that was in Forza 4, but
nobody
here
cares.
it's like
Nobody cares.
Well, here's the thing. I tried to, and I couldn't
No,
change
it's not
the
for you,
camber
dude.
of my tires.
It's not for you.
Here's the thing. I loved cartoons growing up.
Really? No, Jerod, you're not into like racing driving games.
No, He-Man. He loved He-Man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, cartooning. Okay, I got you.
All right.
But everything is very fast. It looks great. It is very sort of cinematic as opposed to maybe other types of games in the series. So it starts you out in a they give you, it's actually got a really cool opening sequence where they like drop you out of the backs of airplanes.
It's
and stuff.
fine.
And it's good. It's pretty good.
It is a cool thing. Here's the thing. Well, yes, the sequence is cool. They do a good job of introducing you to the different types of cars.
Yeah.
Different types of races you're going to be doing. They put you through a sandstorm, so it's like, hey, there's going to be weather shit going on.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really cool, but the overall vibe, and this is where my complaint is. Like, the game is awesome. It looks beautiful. It's fun to race. Like, I love driving around the city. But the whole vibe around the festival, and maybe it's because I'm 40 years old.
You're like,
but the whole vibe
it's
around
too
the
loud.
festival atmosphere, and like, hey, we're here in Mexico, and it's fun, and here we are, and there's a concert over here, and oh my gosh, we're racing. Like, it's really exhausting, and that's my biggest complaint about the game. I'd rather just drive around. It's like Burnout Paradise did not have that, and this is your point. Burnout Paradise is the better game still because it didn't have all that extra trapping, which is just clutter and exhausting. Like, I just want to race, and I don't need to have loading screens or load times to load in some asshole to tell me how much fun they're having at the Horizon Festival. I just don't care.
That is true. Like, hey, I'm your MC today, SA, and we're gonna go to the volcano today.
They get out and they're talking like this broken Spanglish, and it's so dumb, dude.
It's not broken. It's just supposed to be multicultural. It's just
it's Spanglish. It's because it's dumb. It's Americans trying to trying to inject Spanish or Mexican culture into their English, and
there are a few things like that. What do you think about the character customization? Like, the third item that you can do is prosthetics.
Oh yeah, prosthetic arms and legs.
I'm like, what is going on? Like, yeah, you can be like a double amputee or something like that, and I'm like, wow, that is some excessive. Like, we are really wanting to reach out.
Here's the reality: it's a racing game. I shouldn't care what my driver looks like. I should never see my driver on the stage going, "Hoorah! I just got a new Hyundai, and I can't wait to drive it out on the road."
I will say, in all of the online multiplayer things that I've done, I haven't seen a single prosthetic. So apparently, it's not that popular, I guess. But yeah, and there's like random people. No, I didn't.
What did you pick? What did you pick for your name for your character? That's the big question.
So here's the thing. It goes by my profile.
Did it pick Jeremy?
And it tells me my own name. It does. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool. Except for that.
And my kids were like, and it started calling them by their names. Like, it kind of has. And I will say this. Here's the other thing for my two daughters. It's fun because
your daughter's names are unique names though. So
and they got and it works. But
guess whose name it didn't pick up?
LeGrande is not a Utah.
You go to those
County
roadside
name.
tourist traps in New Mexico. You know what? You don't
like
find
all the little keychains.
You don't find little bracelets and keychains with LeGrande.
There is a short film in there somewhere where LeGrande stops and like turns the thing around. And
you don't even find Dale at those things.
If I could
find
Dale before you wouldn't find Jerod with Jared's spelling.
No, not at all.
Definitely
Never.
Jerod. You'll find Dale before you find LeGrande, but
Yeah, I admit that, but they don't. Those don't even get to the level of my name. You know what I mean?
they pre-recorded like lines of dialogue, or at least the names for what 200 names
For something,
of like
yeah.
names, and then they have a whole bunch of nicknames for people like me whose names are so whack
Hey,
that they're just not in the
sports.
game. Yeah, my name
Hey,
is
champ.
Wizard. My name's Wizard.
Welcome,
Hey, Wizard.
Zero.
We're so glad that Wizard's here at the Forza Horizon tournament,
Did you-
Wizard.
did
And I'm
you
like,
pick that?
I do not care what you call. Like, don't even call me anything. I just want to drive cars, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, all that stuff is just noise for a beautiful, fantastic racing game. All of that is straight noise, and it sucks.
There are two things about that. So one is that there's always like some guys like just or turning some corner. They're like inside some barricade, and they're always like, "Yeah, like, are you doing that?" You know, like all day long. Like, you're not even where the music is.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
They're just over there, like, I love watching cars drive by
like, woo,
fast.
okay, I guess
Dude,
we're gonna be
me
standing
too.
around for a few hours. But I will say I like the idea of a festival. Like, one of my favorite things in racing games and festivals was MotorStorm. How they had the MotorStorm festival. I thought that was cool, and I still think that's
Yeah,
cool.
but that was like 15 years ago when you were cooler.
I was cooler back then. No, actually, I'm not sure about that. That is not a certain thing. But it does set a good backdrop for like the music and the score that they've picked. Like there's a lot of drum and bass music. There's a lot of like
You can have music in a
club
video
music.
game without having a fake concert in the background.
Yeah, that's true. But I
love the
appreciate
backdrop.
way
It just
they-
provides more context for the music I'm listening to in the soundtrack.
I need to
of
know
this
the
racing
story
game.
of Forza Horizon 4, okay? I need to know what's going on.
Deep
So the
lore.
other thing that's new here is that they do have some little modes when you do multiplayer. You can drop in and do some things like there's, like in Mario Kart, you know how you have the arena battle modes? They actually have something like that in this. So you can drop in and do like zombies, where you just try and crash another car and it like, gives them the infection, and then you try, so you get scored that way. There's like capture the flag modes. There's an arena with a soccer
I didn't
ball
know
in it, so
that.
I'm yeah. Like they'll sort of ease you into a number
You know
of
what else
different
I
kinds
super
of
don't want to
events.
do?
What's
I
that?
just want to race fast. I don't need to play no mini games. Just let me drive around.
Yeah,
That's
and
all I
there's
care.
plenty for everybody. And right now, when everybody's
agree.
playing it, you can get into just about anything you want to. There's very little wait time. It is a little loady on the Xbox One. So I played it on my web browser, which uses Xbox Series X servers, and it's like bam, 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 like no waiting. With the
It's quick on PC as well, by the way. That's why I'm
yeah,
playing on.
yeah. So it depends.
Works
I mean,
great on
it's-
ultra wide. Look, ultra wide support's great, and frame rate's fantastic.
weather's good. Like a lot of stuff splashing up on your monitor. Like,
Yeah.
This is.
water
I'm
droplets and
assuming
stuff
this
like that.
is free with Game Pass as well.
It is on Game
Yep.
Pass. Yeah, get it and play it on
It
Game
is.
Pass. Now's the time to do it.
We'll talk more
And,
about this later about Game
Yeah.
Pass. I think we'll
So
have some
anyhow,
conversations
Forza Horizon
about
5, if you weren't aware, it's out. If you are aware and we're just kind of like on it, go try it. It's actually really fun. Play it in your web browser. Awesome experience.
Or played on an Xbox Series X or a PC.
Or if you have one, yeah. If you can get one.
I need to talk about a game as well that came out this last week. At least it's out in technically early access for people who buy hardcore editions of it. I'm going to talk about Battlefield 2042. This is the latest in the Battlefield series. I actually subscribe to EA Play Pro. Is that what it's called? Whatever the higher tier version of the EA.
It like
Origin
changes.
They
access.
just need to stop calling their stuff by name because nobody knows it.
Yeah. I
The EA
subscribe
stuff.
to EA's thing,
Yeah.
right? I subscribe to that thing. So I
Subscribe to
already had
EA
the
thing.
base level version with Game Pass, but I subscribed to the higher tier. I spent $15 to do that so I could play Battlefield early because we had a big LAN party over the weekend. Anyway, so this game is a multiplayer only game. So there is no single player campaign in Battlefield 2042. And I don't know where to start about this game. The gameplay itself is really fun, but everything around the game is straight broken and weird and bad, down from the UI to I've had bugs on my machine. Like I'll just lose keyboard and mouse control while I'm playing the game, like just mid game, and I'll get it back a minute later and then it'll go away next, but when it does work, like the game is really fun and they've done a lot of really cool things in the game to make it awesome. And so the core Battlefield experience is there. You have three main modes. One is the Battlefield Conquest, which is your standard conquest. They've added specialists or operators or whatever you want to call them into this game. So they've tried to like shoehorn that bullshit into Battlefield now, which is a little frustrating because now you have every character has a special ability and has, that type of
Personality.
yeah, super dumb. Like there's no place for that in the Battlefield games. They've never had it until this game, and
Bad company.
not like this though, not in multiplayer.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean the story mode's always had characters, right? But not in the multiplayer where I have a guy and this is my specialist and he can drop a turret, and this guy has got a wingsuit, and this one's got a Healy gun or whatever.
I mean, they always kind of had that a little bit, right? Like the heavy machine gun guy could throw ammo, but it was always kind of subtle.
They have classes, Jerod.
Okay. Oh, I don't know.
So I can pick an assault class. And then you pick a character.
No, I hate it. You're right. It's bad.
It's like in Rainbow Six Siege, right? Like,
then you got to choose Cinderblock or like
exactly.
Goldfish.
I don't even know their names. I got to pick old man, old grizzled veteran, with machine gun man.
But
got to pick ghillie suit guy that carries sniper rifles.
It's his 40th birthday.
Look, can I buy premium skins where at the end, if I win, I like pick bullets out of my bulletproof vest?
Probably.
Oh yeah, see, I'm in. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Anyway, so Conquest mode is the standard mode. They have another mode in there called Hazard Zone, which is actually, I'm gonna say it, probably inspired by Hunt Showdown.
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
I'm gonna tell you. So you drop into this map with a team of 4, and you're basically directed to pick up these data caches at these different compounds, right? Mm-hmm. And in these compounds, you might come across AI fodder running around that you need to fight. And then once you pick up a data cache that you find, it alerts everyone to your position, and you can go and steal data caches. If you win, several minutes into the round, an extraction point shows up, and you can go and extract. And when you extract, you earn a currency that you can then spend on future builds of the game. Tell me if this is familiar to you, people who have played Hunt Showdown.
No, sounds new. Sounds like a great new idea.
It is, it's actually pretty cool. It's actually probably one of my favorite modes, new things to do in the game. It's actually pretty cool because it turns it down. Like, listen, I don't need another game with your team deathmatch. Like, I don't need that anymore, at least out of Battlefield. Like, Battlefield is all about the conquest mode, the territory
jumping in
control.
an airplane and immediately crashing it. That is what I want.
100%. I've done that with helicopters already. Like, yeah, that's what Battlefield's about. And I don't need TDM because, quite honestly, the gunplay is fine. It's just TDM is just not where Battlefield is. Battlefield's about the big, large-scale battles. And to have this hazard zone is unique enough to make it feel tactical and cool because that's the kind of gameplay I like. I play a lot of Hunt Showdown. It feels similar enough to Hunt Showdown, but with a Battlefield slant to it, which is fine. And so that mode's actually pretty cool. However, it's still plagued by the bug where the last few times I've tried to play it, I have not been able to play it because suddenly I'm running around the game and all of a sudden my keyboard is unresponsive, my mouse is unresponsive, but I'm still in the game. I can see everything else going around, but I sure can't control anything.
That's part of your bespoke character. He's dealing with some PTSD and sometimes he just freezes up.
So we were playing this round earlier. And
in his wingsuit.
My buddies messaged me and they're like, hey, let's go play. And I'm like, cool. And I hopped on. We got into Hazard Zone and we're trucking over to get to this area. And like, hey, there's guys over here fighting. I'm like, okay, here I come. And I'm like, oh, wait, I can't move, guys. Give me a minute. And
my malaria.
In the meantime, I can't move anywhere, and I'm just kind of standing there, and everybody dies, right? And then my buddy pulls up in a truck, and he honks his horn, and so I hop in the truck with him, and then we're driving around. I'm kind of looking around. All of a sudden, I lose control again. He hops out and then dies, and I'm sitting in the truck and can't move, waiting for my control to come back. And all the enemies are running around and don't quite see me in the truck yet, and I just can't move. And so I'm just like waiting, like, are they going to see me? Am I going to be able to get away?
They need to actually lean into that for this. They need to make that part of the game mechanic.
Maybe that's just the character abilities, that'd be cool.
I think it is. It sounds
super broken.
Sounds legit to me.
But the other cool thing is that they added another mode called Battlefield Portal, and this is where the game gets really, really cool and interesting enough. So they basically took maps and guns and different features from Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and this new game, Battlefield 2042. And they basically allow the community or anyone to basically, you go into a web browser, so portal.battlefield.com or some shit like that, and you log in there, and you can basically create your own custom experience, mishmatching anything from any of these 4 different games into one game mode. So say you want to have Battlefield 1942 tanks against a fleet of, Battlefield 3, whatever. And so you can control everything in the game to like fine tuning bullet speed, whether you, what your, with the, your health is at, if you want to increase or decrease the health, what your damage is, and all those types of things. So you control all the modifiers, build out all the maps that you want to use, and what type of characters that you want to allow to play on each side. Maybe they're both the same, maybe they're different. And then from there, you can also build in a whole bunch of logic things where, say, for example, you want to program gun game. You could program gun game into Portal, this thing called Battlefield Portal, and basically say when die, then give next weapon, and when die, and then the first person to 20 points wins. Like that type of logic, and those types of, it's kind of like a programming language. You actually drag and drop these different conditions in place, and then you can code it to be.
I mean, it sounds like Half-Life 2 custom servers from 30 years ago.
But even deeper than that. It's
remember when we played that one on stream? That was like the worst day of my
Sven
life.
Online or whatever it was.
You mean that Battle Royale and that one? That was
I think it was we tried to play Half-Life Sven or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what it was.
Wow.
Anyway, so I've been having fun kind of jumping in there and kind of screwing around. There's a lot of unique things that are coming out. The developers are also like building stuff and then like highlighting it so you can, see different things.
I mean, that's cool. I think that part's cool.
Yeah, so they built a mode like out of Portal. Like this is just using the tools where it's like a VIP mode where you're trying to kill like one character is designated the VIP and everyone's trying to kill him. Or the team. So you got the one group is trying to protect the VIP and everyone else is trying to kill the other team's
I
VIP.
totally forgot about the VIP game in Team Fortress.
Yeah, so they basically rebuilt that using these tools. It's not like a bespoke game mode in Battlefield. It's just that the tools are flexible enough that you can kind of do a lot of really cool and unique things with them, which is pretty fun. So I've been using that mode. They've generated these hardcore Conquest servers, and that's what I've been spending most of my time in Battlefield. And we're going to talk a little bit later about some of the other bugs and problems that Battlefield's been having. But again, like the gameplay is cool and all this stuff like Hazard Zone and the Portal and the Conquest. And I've been having a lot of fun when I can actually get in games, and the gameplay is cool, but everything surrounding the game, it feels like, the UI people, the UI is half broken. Like it's confusing as hell. I can't figure out how to like equip a scope to my gun. Like it took like funny? 4 of us trying to figure it out, and we couldn't figure it out.
We've had video games for like 50 years now, and it feels like we've solved some of that stuff.
No, they completely. And here's the thing: it's not like this is DICE's first rodeo with Battlefield. This is like their 12th Battlefield game, over the last 20 years. Like it's ridiculous that this game is as broken in some aspects as it is, to the point where when you go to select your operator, there's a known bug where you actually can't click your mouse to select an operator. You have to hover over the operator and then push spacebar. And that is their solution for right now, how you can select your chosen specialist. Because clicking the mouse doesn't work because the UI was designed for consoles. And just
you gotta understand there's a lot of turnover in the industry right now. We have a lot of scandals going on, and so we're bringing in the interns who,
that's right.
We've got
there is a talk that most of the main players from the Battlefield series have moved on from DICE because whatever reason, but
moved on from DICE to what?
Some other company. Like everyone's moved away and like, I'm tired of the
this crap. DICE is too analog. They have to go digital,
Yeah.
So
Texas
anyway, the game's pretty cool. I don't think that it's worth buying right now unless you're a hardcore Battlefield fan. For $15 in EA Play Pro, like I'm going to decide in a month when that's up, or I'll keep it for a year like Jeremy and just keep paying the $15 and forget about it. I hope I don't do that. But for $15 to try it out, like in a month, if it's still as broke as it is right now, I'm not gonna re-up. I'm also not gonna buy it. My plan is to buy it at you get like 10% discount on EA if you have an EA Play membership. So the plan is to buy it at the end of this first month if it is in a good enough state where I can actually play it. Otherwise,
it sounds like they've got something to build on at least. So
absolutely, and that goes into one of our topics we're going to talk about. Like I can't wait to get into that a little bit more. But it's weird because I really like the game, but I hate everything around it. It's just so crappy and broken. And
all it needs is like a festival going on with like people cheering.
If they had that, in 2042 where the whole game is like, and there's enough. Here's the thing: is that there's enough narrative stuff in some of the maps and things to understand.
What if it was like a Mad Max Death Sport Thunderdome? Tina Turner is there. Like,
it's basically that.
What if
21 years from now? Like, where are we going to be at? Where are we going to be?
What if we just get Titanfall 3? I mean, how good would that be?
There's a bug that's pretty cool that I saw a post about where they have a little hovercraft, right? You can hover around. There's a bug that allows those hovercraft to drive straight up skyscrapers. And I think that
doesn't sound like a
they
bug.
should leave. Yeah, that is a feature.
Yeah, absolutely a feature, but clearly weird. But anyway, there you go. Battlefield. It's pretty awesome, but whack at the same time.
Sounds pretty whack.
Yeah.
Weird.
What's up with you, Dale?
Well, I'll give you a short update on the Final Fantasy XIV grind. I'm perhaps ill-advisedly still working toward the weapon that will no doubt be useless after some trivial number of quests in which I get another one that's better.
You can always glamour it,
If they would just charge you $10,
glamour is like the transmog system in Final Fantasy.
So but that would keep the underlying bad statistics, right?
No, it just changes the appearance.
But yes, it keeps the underlying.
Get the item that has the better statistics, and then use the glamour of
to make it look cooler.
Final Fantasy XIV Endgame is nothing more than making my character to look pretty. Like that is the end game of Final Fantasy.
That's why I think as much as I
people
love
people like you, like there's people that are at the end game that are still grinding out relic weapons that you're grinding out, right? Like it's not a thing that's not an activity that people don't engage in. Like you're doing something.
Well, I know because I keep having to join all these light parties in the duty finder. And like every single one, I'm the only person that's never done this dungeon before. So I'm like, again, like, what do I need to know about this boss? But all the players are super chill and everybody's cool and everything's fairly easy anyway. Even the ones that you go into that say like, Storm of the End of Days, parentheses hard mode. Even those are not very hard, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, just having fun messing around with that. Like, the one thing that I do appreciate about this game is that teleportation is freely available and very cheap, right? Because there's all these. This game in particular is really bad about like the just quests that send you, hither and yon all over the place.
Yeah.
In fact, the warrior relic weapon quest has like 30 steps in which you have to keep going back to this blacksmith guy, and he's like, okay, well now I need the special thing to put in the water to quench the blade, so now why don't you go over here to fight this other thing and get me that. And then it's a little bit ridiculous, but no, it's a good game. I would normally call something like this like a podcast game, where you just like chill and listen to something and do, but actually I find that there's something that just kind of like really engrossing and relaxing about being in this world where, and I guess there's just like so many lighting effects on screen at any one point when you're fighting something that like you can kind of just let it wash over you, and it's like a relaxing. Like
you can actually tune that down.
I guess
he doesn't want that. He wants to wash over.
There's a way to tune down all of the effects from all the characters aside from you.
Oh yeah, no, I've done that. I haven't turned it all the way down. I've turned off the things that are from PCs that are not related to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that are not in my party or whatever. But no, there's just something about like kind of being in the world and like listening to the music. And,
I always like the design of the game. I like the music of the game. I like I do like that. That is true.
It's a good happy game. It's a good it's like a relaxing sort of I don't know, just it's very pleasant. I think that's
and now that I know that it's connected to like the Evilise of Final Fantasy Tactics and all of that, like, I like it even more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure all that out. And like, I did notice that the because I went looking through like the list of quests and duties and stuff in the end game manager for all that, and I noticed that the like Yorha whatchamacallit, what's that game?
Ex Machina.
Nier, that's the one. Yeah,
all that. You know what's weird? I was literally just texting someone about that game.
About Nier, really?
Yeah. There's a whole raid series about it, and apparently the first boss in the raid. Actually, I have the quest right now to go to the first raid of that, but the first boss is the first boss that you fight in Nier Automata, the game itself. which is kind of cool.
The big robot guy.
Yeah, that smashes things and stuff like that. And apparently all those mechanics that you have to evade and see in near the game are actually present in this boss design, which is pretty cool. So they do a lot of good crossover events. Like the Evilly stuff is the same way. It's very, very cool that way.
Yeah, so cool game, continues to be cool. Also, I might as well just give a little bit of tabletop Warhammer 40,000 update. I can confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt now that the recent update to the rules for the Grey Knights faction makes them exceedingly stronger than the aged rule set of the Chaos Space Marines, specifically the Word Bearers Legion. That
totally makes sense. Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. See, the thing about the Grey Knights is they are a full spectrum army, in that they can act and be effective in each phase of the turn. You got the psychic phase and the shooting phase and the combat phase, and they excel in each of these, which is almost just unfair to some of the other factions of the game that really only are good at one phase. So there you have it.
Wow. There you have it.
Wow.
You heard it here first on the Game
Minute
Show.
So are you switching to Grey Knights? Is that what you're doing?
I've been doing Grey Knights army for a few months now. I'm actually getting to the end of what I have planned to add to it for the moment.
Do you have a Grey Knights Lehman Russ?
No, because the Grey Knights don't actually have access to the Lehman Russ unless you ally them to the Imperial Guard.
Lame.
Or if Lehman Russ himself, the Primarch, comes back from the quote unquote dead, you could probably ally Space Wolves to get him in your army as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds
Breed.
Great. Did you say breathe?
I said agreed.
Hey.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yes, I concur. Yes, this all sounds very great.
So I don't have anything Warhammer to talk about other than the fact that I just realized Warhammer Total War Warhammer 3, which comes out February 17th, is going to be available day of release on Xbox Game Pass.
I saw that.
I might try it.
Dude, I'm so excited. I own I'm going to buy it anyway because I buy them all.
Sure, why not?
So
I'll play it on Game Pass.
My two games are both music related.
Oh.
Is it a Castlevania Piano of Happiness?
Yeah.
No, it's UO Outlands. Duh. No. Okay.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
So today I kicked off Mandrake Monday. So deep lore moment.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Ultima
Are you
6.
telling me that this Mandrake Monday you have here in the outline is secretly
it's a
UO
code
Outlands?
for Ultima Online.
Man, he's done it. What a bamboozler this Jerod Dunn is. We've been bamboozled, fellas.
Complete swindle. That's
Go
what,
on.
that's what we call the rope-a-dope.
I'm like Googling Mandrake Monday. I'm like, where's this game I hear that Jerod loves so much?
Mandrake the Bard is like an obscure character you can talk to in Ultima 6. And he has an alternate theory on Lord British's virtues and three principles, and that the principles are like wine, women, and I don't know, lust or something. I don't know. It's all just nonsense. So I started Mandrake Mondays. We sat around and we just like drank and sang songs, and then we went and killed a dragon because why not? But I wrote two unique original songs
About Lord British?
No, about
The Mandrake.
one about Dushar Alehammer, the legendary smith. It's actually me. Once I was training blacksmithing, making plate mail arms, right? Metal, like plate armor.
Right.
And he had an epiphany, and he created an antiquity log. It's just like a giant wood log. I'm like, wow. Quite the shining moment. The other was about Sir Valamir, the Valorious. So it's good stuff.
I'll add these ballads to the end of the podcast. We'll have it as the outro music.
They actually have music. You know, Ultima's really limited in how you can play
I'm
music.
gonna do it.
I'll play. I'll record them for
Provide
you
it.
and send them to you.
Okay. All right.
There's like, it's like, oh, drums this time, and then the flute, and then but it's like the same melody every time. It's so good. Okay, so the other game I playing is I was out in the backyard shooting the bow and arrow with the boys, and I was like, we need some music, like some epic, like I'm gonna shoot things with a bow and arrow music, right?
Right.
So I put on a new vinyl I had gotten in the mail that I forgot I ordered, because that's how they all go.
I'm listening. Go on.
It's the soundtrack for Solasta Crown of the Magister, which is like a D&D 5.5 role-playing game. So I'm like, you know what? I should play this game. I own it. Like, it's like I've had it since it like went to early access. So I fired it up, and I don't know, I'm like a couple hours into it, further than I've ever gotten. So that game is really interesting if you are a fan of tabletop, because the only thing it's missing is like the voices of the people speaking out the activities as you play this, like what is effectively a 3D tabletop game.
I cast magic missile.
No, really, like it even shows you the dice rolls. Like you can go into the menu and like customize what dice you want to use. Like it's pretty over the top. It's pretty good. So
I mean, that is interesting, because usually it's just sort of implied that it's like a tabletop sort of
no,
thing, but I guess
it's
this
like
is
legit
explicit.
It rolls, the dice rolls on your screen. It shows you what you rolled. It shows you what your modifier was, and then if you pass or fail, right? Like it's.
I want to see that in the Battlefield portal. I want to see people rolling some dice with their.
I'm sure you probably could. Probably not.
1940 Battlefield 1942.
You roll the dice every time you fire it up if it's going to crash on you or not. Basically,
it's perfect. So I mean, it's not like the prettiest game in the world. The soundtrack's good. It's kind of generic fantasy kind of stuff, but and I have no idea what's going on in the game world. Like I don't know. There's like Badlands and all this nonsense, but it's D&D. You jump in and you assume there's going to be, you know, fireballs and
you slay some rats,
whatever. My guy's voice is like really deep for how he looks, so it's kind of weird like that. But the whole thing's voice acted, even your character, which is interesting because you get to design your character like from scratch. So that's kind of cool. Like I kind of appreciate that they kind of blended those two, right? Because a lot of times that, you know, games will like this, if you create a custom character, you'd be the silent protagonist or something stupid, and you're like, that's not fun though. But it's really cool. It's a really neat little game.
I have a question for you about it. So I see on their website, solasta-game.com.
Sure.
Because solasta.com
must have been taken.
Probably.
It sounds like a laxative.
I see a video here about the Dungeon Maker.
Yeah.
I am wondering if it's possible for a DM to basically create a scenario and run a game with a group of people.
So I hope so, because you know what this reminded me the most of was the mod community for the original Neverwinter Nights game. I don't know if you guys ever played those. Like the campaign was okay. It was really long and not very good, but the mods, like the custom, not only like custom mechanics and stuff, but like the custom stories you could download for that game were awesome. Like you could just download and play and download and play and download. It was like infinite. And like this has that same vibe to it. Like if people latch onto it and go make their own like scenarios and missions and stories, and it could be really like bottomless gameplay if they do it. So I don't know. I'm only a couple hours in. I'm hoping they do, or that is a big thing, but I haven't looked into it yet.
Like D&D is so much fun to play, but having some sort of a visual, like I think is always, at least when I've played it, is always nice and
miniatures.
Integral to
like
miniatures, all the experience, like a map and
something like this
and stuff like that. But if you could actually like create this where it's like, okay, now it's your turn, and it could be turn-based, like a basically a video game, because a lot of people nowadays, and I know a lot of people, including myself, who's play D&D over Discord, because you're playing with people from all over the world. Not everyone's getting together anymore to roll dice and play D&D, right?
Right.
But if you could like have that visual representation in a 3D world like this, I think that would be really cool, where the dungeon master can still control the story, still can control what's going on in the world, but using some sort of a tool set to build out a 3D representation of his world and his vision. I think that would be really awesome.
So Yeah, so I know like Neverwinter had that, right? Like you could actually have where the dungeon master was like a fifth character, you know what I mean? Like in your multiplayer game. I don't know if this has it. But it would be absolutely perfect for it. So anyway, I'm really enjoying
Especially
it.
if it has like the D&D 5th edition like rule set already built into it. Like it'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's really
has anyone
neat.
ever built that? You guys play D&D. Like, has anyone ever built like some sort of an actual game that allows you to play D&D with people? And maybe there's no like actual campaign or anything, but just basically a toolbox that allows you to kind of
I mean, there's
do
like
this
Roll
stuff?
20. It's not the same thing as like this, but
Yeah,
it's
I've seen that, but
yeah.
anyway. Roll 20 is cool, but
Yeah.
I don't play D&D. I never really have. I've been interested in it, but
I'm still listen.
Mhm.
I still have that Dune in a box.
I don't want to pressure you about it, Jeremy, because I know you're working on
I
other
no,
stuff.
I've been thinking about it. I haven't forgotten. It's okay to mention it. I'll get something going. I promise.
have you
I'm
played
totally down for that.
have you played Dune Imperium?
The board game? Yeah, it's awesome.
Is it
It's
good?
great. I've got it. Yeah, let's play that.
I'm down.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that too.
Okay.
Nice.
All the things.
That's what
All right.
Cool, man.
Very
That's
good.
awesome. I like those types of games. Like I bought that God, what was that game? It's a recent game. It's a D&D game.
Oh, the
Multiplayer.
Dark Alliance.
No. not that.
No.
crappy.
Pathfinder,
It was
Wrath of the Righteous.
no.
'Cause that's Pathfinder, not D&D.
I got it installed right. Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh, yeah.
I bought that game with the desire to play with 3 other people and play it like, play that the turn-based campaign that way. And I have never done it with people, but that game looks awesome. But it'd be cool to have that same type of tool set, but allow a dungeon master to basically create a world and create a scenario.
Yeah, I really appreciate this one. Feels like more than just another turn-based or semi-turn-based RPG, right? Like it really put the mechanics up front for you to see, and I really appreciate it. It really reminded me of Neverwinter Nights, the original. Gosh, with that huge mod community. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I got into a
It's fun.
persistent world server with that game, and then we were like role playing as like these religious zealots, and I got into this whole thing with that game for a minute. It was pretty cool. I love Neverwinter Nights. That game was awesome.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Here, you got to
cool.
take down that VIP. Take that stupid graphic down.
Well, that's all for our video games, but we got some new releases today. I'm going to rattle them off really quick. Thank you to tech-gaming.com. So go to them and go to that website and look at some anime girls or something.
Nice.
GTA Trilogy came out and I guess is pretty broken.
Yeah.
From what I understand. That's out though. So there you go. But also San Andreas, GTA San Andreas is out on Game Pass. So play it there, I guess. I don't know. Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Guys, they've done it again. Skyrim Anniversary Edition is out. It's like, 10 years old at this point, I guess.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 is out for the Switch for our Dales. Hello, Dale.
Yeah, I thought about picking that up the other day. I haven't done it yet, though.
Yeah. They also put out Knights of the Old Republic on Switch, so play that as well. And, of course, Battlefield 2042 comes out, I think, officially this Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But you can play it now if you want. There is one Rad Switch PC and Xbox game title.com submission here. Did you add this or did I add this?
I added this.
I was looking at this as well, and I'm like...
Okay, I feel like it's a twofer because A, the title is just what? 2, the timing of this release is what? The game is FishWitch, like the sea creature and the spell casting boil on her nose. FishWitch Halloween. November 16th.
Nailed the release schedule.
All right, everybody, without looking, what is the genre of this game?
A match 3 game. It's got to be.
No, this is
it's fishing. It's a fishing game.
That is a good one. It's a fishing dating simulator.
No.
That's also slightly occult.
It is a match 3 game.
I hadn't even looked at it. I pulled it up and I was like, oh my God, it's a match 3 game.
Oh, so you already knew, cheater.
No, I just pulled it up when you asked.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, it's $10 on Steam, by the way. There you go. Get that. Let's
FishWitch.
see. Baba Is You actually got a huge update, so they added like 150 more levels as well as a level editor, which is
I
kinda
tried
neat.
playing Baba Is You today, and I don't know if it's out yet or something. It did not
coming out.
update on my Switch. Okay. I'm really excited about that. Baba Is You, you might
Such a
remember from the
weird
Game
game.
Bytes like 2 years ago. Was it something like that?
Yeah.
It was like my number 2, I think, or something like that. Or maybe number 3,
It was
but
like a 2019. So yeah, it
excellent.
makes- yeah.
Excellent game.
Sounds about right. Also, the Xbox app, which I think they're rebuilding. From what I read an article earlier today, that they're rebuilding the Xbox PC app, but it now lets you decide where you want to install things. Which I thought
I
about was-
guarantee that thing crashed my profile.
Did it
last
not
time.
do that before?
No, when I did like a Wiz Tree, or I was like looking at the content of my my operating system drive, my solid state drive, giant chunks of stuff that the Game Pass app or the Xbox app, every time I installed something, it would put this unremovable stuff in that you can't manage and remove. And I think it finally borked my user profile. I had to.
So I have a weird. I've been trying to play Age of Empires 4, and it won't run.
Yeah, I got to the point where I couldn't install anything.
Like-
It was like locking up other programs. Like
It took over. I had to uninstall it and reinstall it for it to update because it just wouldn't update. And then I run it now, and it like gets through the loading screen. It's like, oh, you have to connect to Xbox Game Pass, and closes. I was like, what?
So
Yeah.
weird.
It's
weird.
garbage. So I hope this fixes it.
I've had no problems with Xbox app on PC.
Well, then you solved it. You fixed it.
Perfect.
It works
There
on
we
my
go.
machine. Haha.
Yeah. Well, we got some news. Speaking of things that may or may not work on your machine, Battlefield 2042, as LeGrande says, at least the closed beta has launched, and it's kind of a mess. Lots of bugs, lots of crashing. Like LeGrande says, you may run it and not be able to actually play anything. No server browser, bad UI, voice chat. Voice chat. I saw this not launching with voice chat, which Nintendo has already cornered the market on. We're not going to have voice chat. So, following in the footsteps of Nintendo.
Get this. In Battlefield, there's no scoreboard in the game. If you want to look and see who's on the server with you, you cannot see anyone on the server, any names of any other players on the server, and how many kills and or deaths they've gotten aside from you and your squad. And then they don't even have deaths on there. It's just kills.
Yeah.
Weird.
Have you ever
Is it still
seen a
launched through a
multiplayer game
web
that doesn't
browser?
include like a
Garbage.
list of all the players that are on the server at a time?
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know that I've ever seen anything good when I've looked at the list of players on a server before. So I feel like it's
I was just trying to see so we had a LAN party over the weekend to celebrate the release of Battlefield, because we're all big Battlefield fans, and we all got together. There was we had 24 people participating, and probably 18 of those people were in-house, and the rest of the people were playing online. And so we got onto these custom Battlefield portal servers, and you couldn't just hit like the tab key or escape and see who was on each side. Like I never knew who I was actually playing with in the games. It was like ridiculous.
see this simulates that 40-year-old experience. Like there's a feature now where you point your gun straight up and spin in a circle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What does the tab key do? Does it do something different?
No, it brings up, but you can see
Oh,
like
you
the
just see
squads,
the kills only. Okay.
but you can't see the names of any players on it. Like it's really odd. It's really strange. Like they made some decisions. Like somebody decided to do this, right? It's not like they don't have the technology to put a freaking. And I don't want to rant about Battlefield 2042 because there's a lot of broken stuff about it. But what I kind of wanted to talk about when I kind of added this to our outline is, and this has become even more prevalent lately, where games will come out and they come out broken. And I'm looking at like any number of games nowadays. They come out
GTA
straight
Trilogy.
broken, and the developer's like, "Oh yeah, Cyberpunk's fine. Haha, we'll patch it. Sorry, like we didn't know." And it's bullshit. Like, why does this still happen? And why is this a thing? Why? Why is this
Because they can get away with it, and on a podcast we'll say something like, "It sounds like they've got a lot that they can build on," and then they do, and then
And people still buy it. Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if they could
am-
build on it though. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there's plenty of games that have come out that have, maybe Like Marvel's Avengers, for example, came out lackluster with some end game that was non-existent, and the thought was they were going to build on it, and that just never happened apparently with that game.
Yeah, or they keep kind of proposing things, and then people gripe at them, and they back off, and whatever.
Right.
That is the downside. Is if you have a really, like a real twitchy user base, and they're always angry, which is kind of all games, I think, at this point.
Yeah, probably. Except for Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Fans of Final Fantasy 14 can say nothing bad about Final Fantasy 14.
That's true. That's true. Well, listen, speaking of things that may or may not have fan bases at all because you can't buy them, the new consoles are a year old this week. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are 1 year since they've launched. You may or may not be able to find one still these days. And Sony has released the list of the top games that are played on this platform. I wanted to run this by you because I think a lot of these are either launch games or I guess just listen to this. So Fortnite is on there.
Cool.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is on
Launch
there.
game.
FIFA 21, NBA 2K 21, as well as MLB The Show 21, and NBA 2K 22. Boy, I just got really depressed just reading these. I feel like, it's sports games, they're just going to be in the bargain bin at GameStop. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That was a launch game.
Was it a launch game or was it just more recent?
Last November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Also launch game.
Demon's Souls, which
also launch game.
Launch window, maybe. And then Destiny 2.
Old game.
Wow.
Not also even launch game. I mean, that game came out with their enhanced version pretty soon. I think it was in November when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I was just kind of interested in bringing this up in terms of these consoles have been out for a year. It's really difficult to get them. I still see on the internet, on social media, hey, they're going to be restocking them at Walmart, in 30 minutes, go there and get it. But then my PlayStation hasn't really, I'll tell you what I've been playing on it, Control. Like I was playing Control Ultimate Edition is kind of what I've been playing.
That's not bad though, because that game has a lot of updates that are PS5 specific.
Yeah. Or Fall Guys. I installed Fall Guys, which is a PS4 game. I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys on my PS5. But it,
Nice.
it's kind of like my biggest prestige item in my house that I don't actually use. What do you think, LeGrande? Have you been? Let's say either console, because I mean PlayStation. What's the console situation?
You can pick up a PlayStation or an Xbox Series S. Usually, you can find somewhere right now that'll have that for sale, but nobody wants the 1080p edition of the new Xbox, right? Like, it's not selling like the new one. Like, if I'm going to buy an Xbox, I'm going to buy the big boy one, right? Like, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what everyone apparently wants. But I agree, and I don't know if it's because I've gotten more heavily into PC gaming this year, playing a lot of Final Fantasy, playing a lot of Hunt Showdown. But I also at the same time feel like, there just hasn't been a ton of games to play on the PS5 that I haven't been able to also get on PC where I'd rather play them. Yeah. Those games that you mentioned in that list, I have played Miles Morales and Demon's Souls on the PlayStation. I have both of those games. And then I played Black Ops on the PC last year. And then the rest of the games are sports games and or Fortnite.
Yeah.
So there's been a handful of PlayStation exclusives. And by that, I mean one. Returnal.
Yeah.
And maybe if you want to count Final Fantasy VII's remake Intergrade with the Yuffie DLC that was exclusive to PS5. But outside of that, I mean, even Deathloop, which was a PlayStation console exclusive, I have it on PC. I didn't play it on PlayStation. Returnal seems to be that game that if I was going to play any game on the PlayStation 5, like that would be my next game to buy. But there hasn't been anything really driving me to even want to play that game lately. You know what I mean? There's been other occasions where, for example, Axiom Verge 2 came out this year. And I was like, I'm gonna buy that and play that. And then I saw an announcement like, oh yeah, the PS5 specific version is coming later. And I was like, well, I know that game is not a graphical powerhouse, but I'm like, but why would I don't want to play the PS4 version. I'm going to play the PS5 version.
Yeah, like there's no rush.
I legit said to myself, I am not going to play Axiom Verge 2 because I want to play the PS5, the edition that's made for this console, despite it being a game that should run on
it's going to be a first-person shooter on PS5.
Yeah, it's like, what are they going to add to the PS5 version? But they legit came out and said, this is not the PS5 version. This is the PS4 version. I'm like, well, PS5 version is coming later. I'm like, then I guess I'll wait for that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's not out yet.
In general, I'm like, I'm just going to kick back and I'm going to see what's on Game Pass this month.
Dude,
you know?
and that's where I'm at. And that's kind of where I wanted to lead this discussion is, like, I had a buddy who just, he just was able to secure an Xbox Series X this last week. And I'm like, man, I play so much Game Pass games. Like, I would much rather play Forza Horizon on my TV with my Xbox, with an Xbox, than on my PC, because I would like, generally speaking, my rule of thumb is if I would rather play a game with a controller, meaning a racing game, a side scroller, a third person beat 'em up, an action game like that. If anything that I would rather play with a controller, Assassin's Creed, I would rather play on a big TV. Anything I want to play that's shooter related or would be better with a mouse and keyboard, I would rather play on the PC, right?
Yeah.
And so I got the PlayStation thinking like, oh yeah, I love PlayStation exclusive. And maybe next year when God of War comes out, Forza Horizon, or not Forza Horizon, Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, Forbidden West. Like, there's games coming down, but a year into this cycle, there's not a whole lot that's driving me to play the PlayStation. But I can guarantee you that had I an Xbox Series X instead of a PlayStation 5, I would be playing the hell out of it, because I play Xbox Game Pass games all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always looking at what's next. I'm always installing them. I'm always checking them out, even for a few minutes. Like, and Forza Horizon 5, I would be playing there right now. Like, there's a lot of stuff that comes out there. And quite honestly, I feel like at this moment, 1 year into this console cycle, the Xbox is the better platform to have, just because if you had to pick one or the other, because Game Pass is such a good value. It allows you to install games without even thinking about buying them. You just have it because of your subscription. You turn them on. If you play for 15 minutes or 15 hours, it doesn't matter. You get the same value, whatever you consider value for that your playtime is. But I wish I had an Xbox Series X that would see a lot more playing time versus my PS5 right now.
I wish that the consoles, the older Xbox consoles, or even the gimped Xbox Series S, I wish they would stream to the console, like, so I could get the Xbox Series X performance on.
They do now. I thought they added that.
I think they're planning on it, and that's gonna I
thought that it was already added. That's not already added.
Not that I can find, not on my Xbox One that I can see anyway. I mean, maybe it is, but if so, then I'm the chump for installing Forza Horizon 5, because it's much better to stream it. But that's
so as of September 28th, they started testing Xcloud integration on Xbox consoles. So it says it's coming this holiday.
Yeah, I want that. I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah, and so I thought that was already a thing.
No.
So I was like looking for my Xbox One, which it's in my house somewhere. I do not know where my Xbox One is in my house. But I was looking for it because I wanted to hook it up and stream Forza Horizon to it. Like, I wanted to do this because I don't have an Xbox Series X and can't get one,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of in a weird situation. But the Xbox, and that's why I really feel like, regardless, and I've kind of changed my tune a little bit to this, and maybe a little bit. I know we've been talking the last year about how rad Game Pass is, right? But
yeah. Oh yeah.
I really feel like, given this console cycle, by the end of it, regardless of whatever Sony does with their first party exclusives, Xbox is going to come out on top just by virtue of, eventually people are going to click.
It has
going to understand.
There's like a strong mid to high sort of like, there's always something worth playing on that service.
And then
so even if it's not like the AAA
going to start kicking in.
Yeah.
EA Play you already have on there. So eventually Battlefield 2042 is going to be free on there. Yep. Deathloop is going to be free on there in a year whenever their exclusivity ends with PS5. Like, all of these games are going to start popping off on Xbox, like, from all these acquisitions they've made. And yeah, Sony's got some great titles coming down the road. But how can they compete with all those first-party Microsoft titles, plus all the extra stuff that's not Microsoft related, that's just coming to the console just because Microsoft's doing it? It's like, that's their strategy. And I've changed my tune a little bit over the last few months, just because my PlayStation 5 is collecting dust, and I play Game Pass games every week.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel like eventually the general public, who has been PlayStation fans forever, like, yeah, we get 2 new games a year that I actually feel like are worth playing. But man, I can't wait to play that next Halo game for free because I have Game Pass, right?
I am playing more Xbox than PlayStation, and I have always been more into PlayStation than Xbox.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I mean, last generation, I had an Xbox One and I had a PlayStation 4, and I never played the Xbox One like at all. Like I did not play it. Like I hated it.
Yep.
And I played a lot of PlayStation 4 games. And this generation, as of right now, I have a PlayStation 5 console and wish I had an Xbox. How about that? Like that's not that I don't look forward to these games.
Yeah,
but
year
pound for
two,
pound,
I'm interested to see, because it's been kind of a weird year one overall. But
COVID has definitely put a problem. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been postponed. Like even Horizon was postponed. It was supposed to be this year. God of War's, like, who knows when God of War's coming out. But eventually, hopefully that ball gets rolling. But as of right now, Sony's ball Microsoft's ball has continued to roll already.
Yeah.
And I mean, Halo just came out, and Halo's a big freaking title, and it's on PC as well. And I'm playing it on PC, and it's crossplay against Xbox. And I mean, it's just a different game. And I really feel like the strategy is going to pay off. And I know you could probably dial back 2 years in podcast history and listen to us talking about Game Pass and about Sony and the PS5 versus the Xbox Series X. And I bet I was probably all about the PlayStation 5 back then.
Yeah.
And I have completely
I will say this,
my thought about it.
When my current subscription to Game Pass runs out and I've got to look at the prospect of like $15 a month, I'll still think twice.
Not me.
No.
By then I hope to have an Xbox, and by then I'm in, man. Like it's. I mean, I bet I could go onto some message board or even like a KSL or Craigslist, say, hey, trade PS5 straight up for Xbox Series X, and someone would take me up on that offer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, and that's. That would be something I almost would be into, you know, like it's interesting. It's just an interesting, and we knew this was going to be a thing, right? Like, what is Game Pass going to do? And we always thought that the PlayStation first party titles were going to be able to carry it, you know, do well with it. And quite honestly, the PlayStation 5 is still higher priced on eBay than the Xbox Series X. So the demand is still there.
Yeah. Which is
I wonder if it's because, yeah, man, if I had that PlayStation 5, like everyone, it's like,
I mean, here's the thing. I would trade my PS5
you know?
for an Xbox Series X because I don't need to, because you've got the PC, you know, the streaming, you've got the stuff that you can still download and play on the Xbox One. But, you know, I've got this PS5 and everybody wants one. So I'm like, well, great, I've got it. I'm just not doing much with it.
You sure feel cool by having one, don't you?
Yeah. That's basically
it. That's a good point, though. I mean, I technically don't really. I've been playing Forza on my PC. I could technically run an HDMI cable over to my TV. Let's just right there and play on my TV. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but
yeah,
it sure is convenient to have an Xbox, just the console.
Yeah,
you know,
I hear you. Well, we also had on the news list here that the Halo Infinite multiplayer surprise is out today. So a lot of people have been downloading and installing it. LeGrande, I know you got to at least try it out once. Seems okay.
Good hell did it take a long time to load into that thing? That's my only complaint.
I've heard that there's a little techie stuff downloading it, but once you get it going, I guess it's been.
I downloaded it on Xbox, so I know that people had like it hit Steam, like everyone was downloading it, right? And I had no problems getting it downloaded, but when I fired it up, it took forever to load.
Really?
And I don't know if that was like a first time, you know, PC is weird. Like you load the first time and it's got to do some whack stuff and do whatever Microsoft black magic does to your PC. Like we just talked about this, right? But and then when I got into games, it took a long time for waiting for other players. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm waiting for Xbox One players that haven't loaded in that takes so freaking long or what it was, but it took a long time to load in. But once I got in, like the game was gorgeous. It played like a Halo game. It looked beautiful. Like it looks better than any other Halo game, obviously. Like it's a new gen one of those. I played a capture the flag match. I got 9 kills. I returned the flag once, and it was awesome. Like it was a Halo-ass Halo game for sure. But anyway, that's out today.
All right. Well, that's cool. I've got something here that's kind of interesting, and I don't know if anybody remembers because I talked about this a couple of years ago, but this is the first time that I can think of where a game that has actually been canceled, like straight up, like it was released, it was it was playable for a year, they chopped it, and it is coming back. This is from Q Games' Tomorrow Children, which was a PlayStation 4 exclusive game that was sort of like this weird, I don't know, like communism collective 3D mining sort of game, but also kind of
I remember
like
you talking about this.
yeah, sort of like Dadaist like weird subliminal stuff.
Did
But
this
anyway,
game come out in looks like 2016?
Yeah, I think it was probably not that long ago. I mean, it was probably something like 2018.
Tomorrow Children launch trailer PS4 September 2016.
It took him. I think it took him a little while after that to actually get it to come out, and it lasted about 9 or 10 months.
Shut down in 2017.
Yeah,
July.
it was free to play. Oh wow, that was a long time ago.
I'm saying. I'm looking at dates right now. Like that's.
Yeah. Okay. So it's coming back in some form. Dylan Cuthbert is very proud over at Q Games that this is coming back. We don't know when. We don't know what form it's going to take. And it was kind of a weird little, survival-ish. I'd have to go back to the podcast and see what I said about it because I don't even remember. It's been a while, but it's coming back, and I don't remember seeing anything like this happen quite like this before. So
wait till Amazon Games brings back Crucible, then you'll know.
Yeah, then I'll know what that's
a trend.
About.
I'm still waiting.
We'll see. Last item I've got here in our main news is that Unity, which is the I don't want to call it an indie game engine, but it's
development software.
Yeah, it's like a game development engine that kind of competes with Unreal, and a lot of really great games have been made on it. Well, that company has actually purchased Weta Digital. That is the company that did I guess I think of the Lord of the Rings 20 years ago. Did you know that movie's 20 years old now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring.
It's a weird purchase. Like why? What's going on?
They want to get into practical effects. Maybe they want to do like latex face.
Yeah, maybe
prosthetics and stuff. No, I don't know. I don't know.
It's Weta Digital, so it's like their digital division. I don't know. Maybe they want to add some of their tech into their engine. Like that's what I would expect. Some of their rendering tech or.
That's a pretty high price though. 1.6 billion. Did you think that Unity would have that kind of money to throw around? I don't know that I mean, maybe they got a loan. I don't know.
Maybe they got a loan. They need a $1.2 billion loan or whatever it was.
We have $0.4 billion here.
I don't know. They have a lot of games that come out, including League of Legends Wild Rift on the mobile. Like that's
true. Like
that is a Unity game. Like there's a lot of
legitimate games.
Wasteland 3 is a Unity game. Shin Megami Tensei remastered games are Unity games.
There's a bunch of stuff they use.
Legends of Runeterra, which is the League of Legends card game. I believe that actually Hearthstone, I think, was built on Unity, if I'm not mistaken. So there's some big games, and and if they charge like Unreal Engine charges, they're getting a percentage of sales. Like that's just the way it rolls.
For sure.
Some of these. Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite was a Unity game. So there's some pretty big profile games that are on there. So I wouldn't doubt that they have Genshin Impact. There you go. There's some big profile games that are built on Unity. So I wouldn't discount that they have 1.2 billion or whatever it was you said.
Yeah.
1.6 billion dollars.
I guess over at Unity they smell man flesh. I guess I don't know.
That's all I think about because Weta actually. I don't know if you remember, like one of the first Salt Lake Comic Cons, they had Weta came out and put up.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
they had like all their stuff there in like some booth at the Comic Con, but this is like the digital. So I'm assuming that as part of what they do, it's kind of like Industrial Light
Magic.
Yeah, they just have a bunch of stuff that they do, and this is their digital division.
Yeah,
but
meat's back on the menu.
Meat's back on the menu with the speed run, gentlemen. Start the music. Pew, 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 pew.
Playdate, the handheld game console from Panic, software company Panic, based in Portland. You might have seen this cute little yellow game machine with a little crank on the side, and it comes with games built in, and I guess like stuff that it downloads over the internet or something.
Yeah, you can like expand it.
And it's really easy to develop for as well.
This whole thing, and it's been delayed due to an issue with batteries. So they apparently got the shipment of the little consoles in, but the batteries were like ultra depleted, such that you couldn't even like recharge them.
Oh wow!
And so what they're having to do is ship them all back to like I don't know, Philippines or somewhere. I read this is funny. I read about this on the website of the Portland newspaper, which is called the Oregonian. And there was a story about the Playdate being delayed, and they explained why and everything. But yeah, if you're looking forward to getting one of those, it's going to be a few months longer than the already 2 years longer that it was originally planned.
Well, the same thing is true for. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Take it. Jerod.
I won't say it. I won't say that Valve has delayed the Steam Deck.
Did you order one?
No. I mean, I did like the pre-order $5 because you can refund it, I guess. I don't think I'll buy it though.
Nah.
Yeah, same.
Gucci.
We should figure out a system for this.
It should go like clockwise.
Gucci made a $10,000 Xbox, so I don't know if you're into that.
It does come with a Game Pass subscription.
Just in
though,
time
from
for
what
that
I've heard,
movie
so.
starring
Probably-
Lady Gaga.
Probably
and,
doesn't fit in your Gucci purse.
Adam Driver.
Maybe it does.
Maybe it does.
A big Gucci purse.
Well, speaking of various League of Legends game, an announcement today that Hextech Mayhem, a League of Legends story, which, get this, is a rhythm-based action game based on an exploding character. He's like some kind of squirrel guy or
I
something.
don't like it.
Explosion Man, cool.
It is kind of like Explosion Man, but it does it all based on music. And it's cool because video game musician Stemage, who does some really great music, has worked on the music for this. So I'd be interested to try this. But there you go. The latest thing from the League of Legends cinematic universe.
Did you guys watch any of that Netflix series Arcane?
No, but it comes up on my recommendations.
Yeah, supposedly it's really, really good. I'm going to check it out. I watched like maybe 10 minutes of it, but supposedly it's like really, really good.
Gate
I'll try it.
2 is coming to the Xbox backward compatibility list, along with a bunch of other stuff probably. And they're shutting servers down? That's a weird pair.
Yeah, it's kind of weird timing.
Skate 3, by the way, still holds up as a very playable game, even by today's standards.
Well,
that game's awesome. I played it the other week. Like, I play Skate 3 often. That game's awesome.
Well,
I played on Xcloud as well. It's great on Xcloud.
speaking of shutting things down, Amazon Games has switched off the New World's entire economy after another duping glitch has been discovered.
Cool.
When are they going to learn their lesson and stop putting economies in games?
I know. There's
Or
a lot of
duping
irrational
glitches.
Exuberance.
That's when the whole
Yeah,
game is
there.
built around crafting and selling stuff and an economy. Like, that's the whole. You can't buy stuff from NPCs or sell stuff to them. It's all
That's
built around
true.
player economy.
Speaking of changing a well-entrenched economy, YouTube has begun to hide the number of dislikes that videos get. You can still click on dislike, but it doesn't show it to anybody.
It only makes my videos worse.
Yeah, and I suspect my personal hypothesis on this is that they're doing it to protect Nintendo from the ratio of likes to dislikes that they're getting on all of their Nintendo Switch Online videos.
It's
and
not just
announcements.
Nintendo. It's like anybody that posts anything that
I will say this. I saw a meme that was pretty good that was talking about how YouTube is they did the guy with the mug, like the old man who's kind of like,
Oh yeah.
and they took off the YouTube, removing YouTube removes dislikes, but then it showed people are just commenting with the word dislike, and so he's like making this like perturbed face.
Not bad.
So yeah, I think we're gonna get more likes than dislikes on our videos now, guys. I think it's finally our time.
Hey, we have a very high percentage of likes to dislikes.
That's true.
Like 6 likes to 0 dislikes.
Something like that.
Like 2 likes to 0 dislikes.
Oh, my
Like
bad.
likes.
Yeah, perfect.
2 likes.
Forza Horizon 5 is going to be adding a sign language picture-in-a-picture accessibility feature, which is kind of neat.
I think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
I
First game
don't
to ever
know.
do that, I think.
I mean, I guess the thing is though that you would think that somebody who's hard of hearing would just read the subtitles. Maybe it's for like illiterate people who also know like sign language or something. But I do find
Maybe
it kind of interesting.
Kids that can't read.
Maybe
4-year-olds playing 4-year-olds.
I don't know.
Children that
Signing
can't
4-year-olds
read yet.
I mean, that's
Maybe
possible.
you can use it to like teach. That when people teach babies before they can talk, how to like ask for food and stuff like that.
Well, maybe you know what? It sucks to read subtitles. Maybe.
I mean, but how much
maybe
more
it's
does it
more
suck to
natural
watch
for
somebody
them.
like,
Yeah, except for the sign language people, that's their language. Like
Yeah.
maybe
No, it's
that's
true.
more native to them.
Yeah,
than
but reading
text.
is your language, so why aren't you better at reading subtitles?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. 15 years after Oblivion, we finally have the Skyrim Anniversary Edition with free horse armor.
I'm so glad I waited.
Bethesda's fine. I haven't. This is
I was
my
holding
time.
out.
Now you can finally go and play Oblivion.
That's right.
It's,
I was boycotting Oblivion because of their horse armor. It's like, I'm not paying for this. The Game Awards are going to be on December 9th, and according to Jeff Keighley, are going to feature, quote, 40 to 50 games. I don't know. It's a big range there, but 40 to 50 games. And they also promise that there will be no NFT shenanigans, or they won't be talking about NFT
world
stuff in games
premiere.
at all.
No NFTs.
Yeah. What if the world premieres are the NFT?
What if the whole show is just one NFT?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the.
You want to
that's the,
buy
like,
the official
rug
NFT
pull.
of the Game Awards?
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, guys, the audio NFT that we call the Game Bytes Show, and video, I guess. So, YouTube.com. Guys, thanks for joining us at youtube.com/Game Bytes Show. All of you who are out there.
Unlistenable trash.
No, that's right.
And NLT.
We have reached the end of this podcast, and it is yours. We give you the right to listen to it as often as you want. It won't cost you anything. Our gift to you. And maybe it'll appreciate in value. We'll see. If it starts out at 0, even a 1 cent increase is an infinite amount of increase.
Offer void where prohibited.
Yeah, exactly. Offer void. Folks, if you have any comments about the games that we've played, if you wanted to share with us the games that you've
Keep
been
them
playing,
to yourself.
we don't want to hear about it. No. But you can find us on social media. Tell us all about that. We are collectively at Game Bytes Show on Twitter. You can also reach out to us individually. I am at Jeremy_Lamont.
You can find me on Twitter at LeGrande.
Whoa.
And I'm at Count Elmdor.
I'm at red_I.
You can also find us at GameBytesShow.com, YouTube.com/GameBytesShow. On our website, GameBytesShow.com, find the back catalog of all of our podcasts, a link to our Discord server. Come join us there. That's probably an NFT. I don't know. Do it. Do all of that stuff. And of course, we will be back next week to do all of this stuff again. We'll make sure to keep you informed, edified, entertained here on the Game Bytes Show podcast. Until then, this has been your show. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you next time.
E3, informed, entertained, and edified.